Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Bahashim HaMashiach, wa Malak Yahushai. Secondly, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with yet another cold cut. Today in this cold cut, we'll be discussing how to get a job being an Israelite. All right, I'm going to kick it off with Ecclesiastes 7:12. You absolutely need a job in this captivity. All right? That goes without saying. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. Money is a defense being in this society because you need money to survive. You need, on a carnal level, you need money to have a roof over your head, to have food in your belly, to have clothes over your back. How much more having children? That's why money is a defense. It didn't say money is a god. It didn't say we must worship money, but simply that money is a defense. And you have to keep that in mind when you're trying to obtain a job, right? Think of it as a defense only. Don't think of it as, oh yeah, I get to, spend it riotously. I get to do wickedness with it. I just have to accumulate more and more and more. You shouldn't move in that spirit when it comes to obtaining a job being in its truth. Because again, money is a defense. You will hear me utter that through this entire video. Because again, you need to take care of your family or yourself. All right. In the time being, right, until you actually have a family, you have to get money, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahushai. Lord willing, Israel may understand that, I don't say that in a carnal way, but more so in a spiritual way. And we're going to bring out the precepts and some accounts, have some anecdotes, right, in regards to Israelites and being in the workforce. This is Proverbs 30:8. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. This is also another important precept to keep in the front of your head when it comes to applying for jobs online, right? You have to remember, again, you're not getting a job to get rich. You're not getting a job to get a damn Ferrari, brother. Are you getting a job to ultimately sustain yourself in this captivity? Because again, we have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. And in being that, we have to remember that I don't want to be too rich, and I also don't want to be too poor. Just kind of right in the middle through the spirit. Right in the middle, and then I'll have more time for the Lord, Yahweh Yahushai. Because when it comes to chasing money, you will end up serving money. Literally. A lot of brothers end up serving money, and I've seen brothers fall out the truth, chasing money. They ended up worshiping it. All right, now there's nothing wrong with having a good profession and being good what you're good at, right, or being mighty what you're good at, but there's a thin line. There's a very thin line. I'm going to get Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with all thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave, whither thou goest. I return to Sodom of the sun. Well, before I get that, I want to pause and harp on verse 10. Right, whatever you're good at with your hand, hey, do so. But do so using wisdom and knowledge, right, on the right-hand side. Not on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side. You want to make sure that you have an honest, good living. You want to make sure that your job isn't taking up too much time from the Lord. It's not taking up too much time from your family. It's not taking up too much time to pray, fast, study, and to read. Brother, if you're getting off at 10 o'clock every damn night and you got to go to work at 7 o'clock a.m., you need a new job, brother. Let's be honest. I don't care that it pays $45 an hour. You need a new job. From 7 to 10, 6 days a week, you're barely going to have time to study, read, and do the things that you need to do for the Heavenly Father. This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Mammon is money. That's wealth. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment. And this is where that wisdom and discernment comes into play. Because you can't read that verse alone and say, no more work for me. You can't lean back on your lazy boy and say, well, the Lord will provide for me. It says so in Matthew 6:25. I just got to relax. No, it's you have to have discernment. You have to have wisdom, because it tells you in Sirach, I believe that's 33:15. Let's get it. The Lord loves a laboring man. All of our forefathers, they labored with their hands. They labored. They put their hand to the plow. Let's pull that up real quick. It might be. Bear with me. Let me pull that up. Salakia. Here it go. No, that is Salakia. Salakia, 7:15. Ecclesiastes 7:15. Hate not laborer's work, neither husbandry which the Lord ordained. So even on a physical level, the Lord said you don't want to hate laborer's work. So you got to get your ass up, right? And do your work, but in moderation. All things must be done in moderation. Right? That's without a shadow of a doubt. All things must be done in moderation. You shouldn't work 80 hours a week. You shouldn't brag about that. You shouldn't boast about that. Rather, you boasting about being a slave, being the hardest slave in a plantation. That's the last thing you should do, saying or claiming that you serve the Lord. Yeah, I serve the Lord, and I put in 70 hours for Esau. Yeah, congratulations, brother. You've been a top-notch slave. Congratulations. Right? So again, this is just wanted to start off the lesson by simply stating you shouldn't serve money. That's not your purpose when it comes to getting a job. That is not your purpose at all. That shouldn't be the front of your mind, right? It should be simply to stack up whatever you can, because money is a defense and you'll need it. Pre-eventually may fall sick or need a new job in case you lose one job or it's like in between jobs, or whatever the case is. That's the purpose of money. All right. So moving on to the slowly transitioning to the next point, which is how do you behave at work? Right? Do you tell your Edomite boss you're going into slavery, and you bring out Revelation 13, and you bring out Jeremiah 51? I'm the battle axe. You know, you're bringing out Jeremiah 51, bringing out Zechariah 8. You're going to be my servant in the kingdom. You don't want to be an asshole, right? You don't want to be a jerk at work. Right? Not that you're wrong, not that you're wrong by saying those verses. But again, when it comes to being in the workforce, being an Israelite, comes having discipline and discernment and knowing that there's a time and a place for everything. Surely you must know that there's a time and a place for everything. Ecclesiastes 3:1. It's like it at Sirach. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So now, at work, on your lunch break, brother, that's not the time to blast the Israelite video in your cubicle. And everybody's like, what's that? Yeah, they hate white people? What's going on? And then you find yourself in HR with no job and you can't feed your family because you have no discernment. It tells you in Sirach 32:8, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. In our reality, you don't have to say too much at work. You got to do what you got to do, brother, and go home. Get out of there. Just do what you got to do. Get the hell out of there, brother. If Esau is saying, hey, you want some extra money there? And you don't need it. In this scenario, you don't need the money. You don't need it. He's saying, hey, buddy, you want to work an extra few hours? You say, yeah. Brother, Brother, hold on. You don't need it. You don't need it, brother. Just go home and read. Take care of your family. Pick up your kids. All right? Go spend time with the wife. Stop giving all your time, your energy, and your resources into Esau, the nasty ass so-called white man. All right? Keep that in mind. Don't be a coon, because the Most High can make you lose your job. Most High can very well take that away from you. Most High can take that away from you. This is Sirach. Let me get Sirach 11 and 21. Marvel not at the works of a sinner, but trust in the Lord. And that's another important thing to note as well, being in the truth and being at work. You watching all the rich people can't get more rich, and you're like, you kind of just stroking your chin. How can I achieve that? How can I do that? I want to be rich just like them. Don't marvel at that, because more than likely, a lot of the times to get rich in this society, you gotta trim your waist, right? You have to trim your waist. 9 times out of 10. Not all the time, but a lot of the times to get more money, you gotta be creepy. You might have to be, perverted with your knowledge or wisdom at work. A lot of times, you'll see sinners making the most money. Marvel not at the works of the sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor. Right? Abide in thy labor. Just do what you got to do. Just do what you have to do. Remember, the Lord loves laboring man. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the poor. It's like in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. The Most High can do that. Don't forget that. Don't forget the Most High can do that. It tells you in verse 22, the blessing of the Lord is the reward of the godly. And suddenly he maketh his blessing flourish. Not to say you'll always be blessed in monetary wealth, but chiefly in wisdom on how to, maybe ditch that job and just have your own business, right? So you don't have to work long hours for Esau. However the case may play out, just acknowledge that the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. He gave you that job and he can take it away. A lot of people in the truth, a lot of brothers got fired, right? Now, for some cases, for straight up folly, but other cases, because you started to worship it. That's why you lost your job, brother. You say, well, I did this and I did that. Brother, you gave too much time to it. What do you think the Lord's going to do? What did you expect? This is Genesis 39 and 19, an account of our forefather losing his job. And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife, right? This is Potiphar and his wife. When you read the account of Genesis 38 and 39 on down, you will see and read, really, how his wife bared false witness. And how Potiphar, the Pharaoh, was upset. So much so, it tells you, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. So Joseph got fired because prior to that, he had a good portion. He had a good lot. And it was kind of overseeing the things of the Pharaoh. He kind of did this, he had a lucrative job. It was good. And then he lost it. Not by way of being wicked, but really by way of keeping the commandments. And the Lord may very well make you go through a similar situation where he may take you out of a job for a moment of time because that job may have been wicked, it may have been bad for you, it may have been stressing you out. The Lord can do that as well. But of course, we know that happened for a greater purpose in the scriptures, right? That's Romans 15 and 4 on down, So this is Ecclesiastes 10 and 4. If the spirit of the ruler rise up against thee, leave not thy place, for yielding pacifieth great offenses. All right, this is another topic, or a topic of discussion that may happen at work. Peradventure, you may do something wrong, and you slip up because accidents happen, right? You don't want to be the guy that just rambles off at the mouth, puts his foot in his mouth, He runs away, say I quit. Hold on, brother, relax. Right? If the spirit of the ruler rises up against thee, leave not thy place, for yielding pacify the great offenses. Right? You have to yield even in your tongue and your speech. Right? Be as one that knoweth but speaketh little. All right? That'll definitely save you from a lot of trouble. There's no telling how the event situation may go down. If you get fired, you get fired. But you was there to stand on your toes and be held accountable, right? And hear your judgment. And that's being a man, right? If you did wrong, you just gotta just deal with it at work. We slip up, accidents happen. You still gotta pay the consequence. But if it happened, just deal with it, brother. Right? There's no telling how that counsel may go down. Right? You feel like you're gonna get fired, but lo and behold, they say, hey, this is a learning lesson. Don't worry about it, man. Right? But you already feel like you're gonna get fired, so you just quit. Hold on, brother, relax. So these are different what's the word, perspectives to look at when it comes to being an Israelite in a workforce. Right? And you're not at work to find love either. Stop trying to find love from Tanisha and Kelly. Don't find love from them sisters. Right? More than likely at work, you're not going to find your wife. You're not doing it, brother. You're not out there to look for love. And it goes the same for you sisters too. Or maybe I can read Deuteronomy to them. Relax. That's not your goal. You're there to work, right? Just work. You're not there to get to have a damn friendship with the whole company. You're not there to be a mascot. You're there to just work, right? Remember, you're in captivity. Sometimes you have to remember that you are in captivity. You're in Babylon. You're not in the kingdom. Right? This isn't your playpen. This isn't your playhouse. This isn't your place of rest. I'm going to get two more precepts and we'll wind down. Genesis 29:16. Another account of our forefathers getting jammed up at work, because best believe what'll happen. People may even conspire against you. They may try to beguile you, but that's why we're doing this lesson, so it'll further help you to understand how circumspect you must be at work, how important it is to be circumspect at work. This is work is a deep thing. Work can teach you a lot of lessons if you have the ears to hear. You may have a boss that may be an asshole and you just feel like, oh, I hate these nations. She's always so mean. Brother, maybe they're being mean for a reason. Maybe the Lord made that happen for a reason, to toughen you up. All right? Or maybe, your boss is real quiet and timid. And, hey, can you please do this? That may be happening so you can understand what it's like. That may happen so you can understand how not to be in a position of leadership, right? In other words, there is a bit of knowledge from everything, right? For those who have an ear, let them hear. You can learn from everything. So this is Genesis 29:16. And Laban had two daughters, and I'm going to jump down. And Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said in verse 19, it is better that I give her to thee, that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. So that was the consensus, right? Work 7 years, abide with me, and then you may proceed to have my daughter Rachel. Verse 20, and Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her, that I may marry her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah, and said to Laban, What is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? So so Jacob was beguiled at work. And that can happen. That may happen. But this is what this lesson is for. Right? This is why it's in there in Genesis 29. So you can try not and understand the room and situation in your employees, in your employer, so you won't get beguiled. Right? This lesson is to help Israel understand spirits and the ways of man, and how you can't trust in everybody, and how you have to, get a lot of things done in writing. That's Sirach 42 and 7 or down. But nevertheless, let's jump down to 25. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. Oh, we read that. Verse 26. And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Well, hold up. He didn't say that. He didn't say that in verse, 18 on down. He didn't respond with that. Okay, yeah, you love Rachel, but you got to have the younger before the other. He didn't say that. So, Laban went off. Uncle Laban, he went off. He beguiled Jacob. And so as you continue to read, he ended up, working more. But nevertheless, the point is, a lot of times, you may get beguiled at work. They may try to pull a fast one. But you have to get back at them. Don't get it back in blood, right? don't get it back in blood. But you have to be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, if the situation permit itself. And I give an example. There was a brother, he's able to wear his fringes at work. Not everybody may be able to, and that's okay, right? Some people have to wear uniforms. They got to abide by the laws of the land. You got to have discernment. You can wear your fringes or your zizis, however you do it, under your pants. You're wearing them, but you're wearing them. Now, this brother in particular, he was able to wear his fringes out. Now, his boss, his employer said, "What's that?" And she very well knew what it was, and she knew what he was about. And so, through the spirit, he kind of put up a picture and said, "You see this? You see this Native American, right? We're commemorating or whatever, something to that effect. We're honoring him through the spirit. And so I wear my fringes." And she was like, okay. And that's discernment, that's wisdom. Because, and I'm gonna give an example. Why that's wisdom. A lot of brothers may be saying, "Hold up, brother, it's going off. You got to be bold as a lion." Proverbs 30, being wicked, you denying the Lord. Hold up, brothers got to deal with this. Brothers got to deal with Acts. I thought I wrote it down. That's okay. This Acts 25. Salakia. This Acts 25. I'm gonna jump all the way down to where are we? And this is Paul in a place of court. All right, he's been interrogated, and this is how he responded to Festus. I'm gonna pull it up. I've got my glasses. Paul responded something to the effect of, "O most noble Festus." Here it is. Oh, it's Acts 26 and 25. I'll set up verse 24. And as he thus spake for himself, Festus said with a loud voice, "Paul, thou art beside thyself. Much learning doth make thee mad." And although he's not in a place of work, but more so in a judicial type of setting, right? The concept still applies to be wise as a serpent. But he said, "I am not mad, most noble Festus." Well, let me read verse 24 again, Slack here. And he said, and as he thus spake for himself, Festus said with a loud voice, "Paul, thou art beside thyself. Much learning doth make thee mad." And that's an insult. He's insulting Paul. This is how Paul responded. But he said, I am not mad, most noble Festus, but speak forth the words of truth and soberness. For the king knoweth these things, before whom also I speak freely. I am persuaded that none of these things are hidden from him, for this thing was not done in a corner. So, he's using wisdom. Now, he could have said, well, look, he could have cursed Paul. It's like he could have cursed Festus, right? In the chapters prior, Paul cursed men, right? Paul wrote letters condemning men, sent men unto Satan. Now, he could have did the same thing. He could have said, I call 5 angels down from heaven and cut thee asunder. Paul could have did a lot of that stuff. But, right, he's using wisdom and discernment and being circumspect, because there's a time and a place for everything. There's a time to grow, there's a time to break down, there's a time to yell, and there's a time to be smooth with your words. Right? That's Colossians 4. Let's get it. 4 and 6. Let's start verse 5. Colossians chapter 4, verse 5. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. You have to walk in wisdom. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Your boss say, hey, how you doing? You can't be like, Esau. You can't be that guy. Just say good morning. Keep it pushing, brother. That's it. Just do that. Do something. Keep it pushing. You don't gotta be an asshole at work. You keep wondering why you're losing all your jobs. You're being an asshole. You know how to conduct yourself. So Paul was he was in a sticky situation, and yet he still was wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. So I'm going to close out with Psalms 128 and 2. For thou shalt eat the labor of thine hands, happy shalt thou be, and it shall be well with thee. Right? You should want to eat the labor of your hands. Right? It's good to have an honest, good living. Right? You worked you worked a perfect amount of hours. You still got time to go home to your family, your kids, raise them up, read, may even have time for date night, whatever the case is. That's an honest living. And especially if your job isn't just pure wickedness, right? You just, you're selling pork, or you got to touch shrimp all day, or you may have to work the Sabbath. That's not an honest, good living. An honest, good living is, behaving well at work through the Spirit and being wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. Even Yahushua, when he was brought before the king, it's that Luke 23. Let's get this. And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate. And they began to accuse him, saying, We found this fellow perverting the nation. And forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is Hamashiach, a king. And Pilate asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And he answered and said unto him, Thou sayest. Now Yahushua could have rained down some demons, just tore that man in two, kind of summoned some lions, but he said, hey, thou sayest. Sometimes you got to be crafty with your words. Somebody at work asked me, are you an Israelite? Are you a Hebrew Israelite? I just say, I said, I jokingly say, yeah, I am. But, again, it's a time and a place for everything. Because you don't want to be confident in a plain way. You say, yes, I'm an Israelite, and it's true y'all are going into slavery. Hey, you got to keep work. Remember that. And that's being wise as a serpent. You have to keep work. Again, everybody's job is a little different. Maybe you're in a position to say that. If you are, then all praises. Do what you can. Plant the seed. If you're not, then of course, you got to use wisdom. And if the opportunity permit, try to plant the seed here or there. if the opportunity permits. But all is that is to your discretion, depending upon your job, whether you have that type of atmosphere where you can speak freely, or you have that more so strict atmosphere where you have to be wise as a servant. So with that, Abba Ratazah, Israel has been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. Shalom.